In this video, I'll discuss how recruiting and staffing agencies work. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. There are a lot of well-known recruiting and staffing agencies out there. You've probably heard of Robert Half, Korn Ferry, and Aerotech, just to name a few. And all of those recruiting and staffing agencies have a very similar model in regards to how they work. So when you're thinking about how a recruiting or staffing agency works, there's really two main ways. You can either focus on direct hires or you can focus on more temporary staffing, such as contract workers. So when it comes to direct hires, this is mostly associated with recruiting agencies. Staffing agencies are usually going to be correlated to contract workers or temporary workers. A recruiting agency typically focuses on direct hires because they're looking to make full-time placements with that company. It's not going to be on a temporary basis. So those placements that you make in regards to a recruiting agency are going to be permanent placements for that company, which means that they become actual full-time employees with that organization. Now, on the other side, or the flip side of that, you have staffing agencies. And staffing agencies are really focused on contract or temporary workers. And these temporary workers, in terms of how long they can actually work for a company, is really going to vary. There's contract positions that may be a couple weeks long. There's some that could potentially even be a couple years long. It really is going to be contingent on the company that you're working with and exactly what it is that they're looking for. Now, in order to get either of those in place in terms of direct hire placements or temporary or contract placements, you're going to need some form of a contract. So you're going to want to work with prospective clients in order to get that contract in place. And if you haven't downloaded my free contract template just yet, then I'll leave that link down below in the description box. Be sure to do that because it goes over a really good amount of the information that is needed for you to get started with starting your own recruiting agency. And once that contract is in place, from there, you can go about filling the roles. So whether that's on the direct placement side where you're actually looking for full-time employees, or on the contract side where you're looking for some temporary workers who will do some temporary things with the company, once your contract is in place is when you can actually get started on the work. Now, the biggest difference between the two is how they're going to get paid. In terms of a direct hire, that's really focused on a placement fee that's going to be usually a percentage of the first year's salary. And when I say first year's salary, keep in mind that this is also going to be contingent on what you include in your contract. That can be the base pay, any sign-on bonus, as well as any other additional cash that's offered for the first year. Now, on the temporary or contract staffing side, it's really going to be contingent on the hourly rate. So let's say that the average hourly rate for, let's just say a warehouse position that you're looking to fill is around $15 an hour, where you're going to add an upcharge to that so that you're able to then get paid in regards to having that temporary worker work with that particular client. Now, keep in mind that there are requirements that come with the direct hire placements as well as temporary and contract workers. On the direct hire placement side, it is ideal that you have some form of insurance in place from a general liability perspective, just because you want to have that in place for any business that you start. However, on the temporary or contract worker side, the insurance requirements tend to be rather steep in regards to what you have to have in place. Keep in mind that with contract or temporary workers, that they are technically employees of yours that you're then sending out to work with your client. So because they are employees of yours, you have to have payroll, you have to have workers' compensation, along with the general liability insurance, as well as some other insurance that's associated with it. So with that being stated, temporary or contract workers does tend to be one of those situations where if you want to start a staffing agency, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate level of capital in order to be able to do it. That's why I typically tend to recommend that if you are brand new to the recruiting industry, that you actually start on the direct hire placement side. The startup costs that are associated for you to go about placing a direct hire are pretty minimal in comparison to temporary or contract workers. But again, it really is going to be contingent on you, your business model, and what's going to work best for you. Keep in mind that more than 90% of companies use some form of a recruiting and or staffing agency. So when you think about it, whether you get in on the direct placement side or the temporary contract worker side, it really doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you actually got started and got your agency off of the ground. And from a benefits perspective, keep in mind that you are providing a lot of value to the company. Whether you're doing direct hires or contract or temporary workers, you're able to assist that company in really filling a gap or solving a problem that they weren't able to do internally. Keep in mind that the value you add is going to be immense. Well, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, as well as if you are not subscribed to my channel just yet, then be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that drop each week. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.